With Illinois State head football coach Brock Spack as you get ready for your 18th season at the helm of ISU football. How do you feel about the upcoming season, the team, and all of it?
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been 18 years, but I feel pretty good about it. I feel real good about it, actually. I really like our players. Our staff has done a great job recruiting. We have some good, not just good players. We have good guys that you can trust in the classroom and all and away from the classroom, and they're good in the community. But I do like our depth, and I like where we're at.
I know we have to look to the future here, but we got to spend a little time on the past and the incredible season that the Redbird football team had last year, making it all the way to the title game. How do you keep the momentum going from that? Does the vibe feel the same this year as it would in a typical year after that run?
Yeah, I really like this team. The vibe is even more probably exciting. It just seems that excitement is a little bit even more than it was a year ago. I think the guys were excited to play. I just think these guys were really work driven, and they had a lot of things they wanted to get done, and that they hadn't done yet. And this team has been together a little bit, longer now, and so they've developed some things. Now they're excited that I think this team has a lot of excitement, thinking they could win the national championship. I thought last year's team could too, but this team knows they could have, and maybe should have. I don't know if that's the word I should use, but we had our opportunities to win the title game. And when I came off the field, talked to the team, I know how disappointed they were. I said, someday, fellas, this will go away, and you'll be very proud of what you did. The 4 wins in a row on the road has never been done. When you've done something that's never been done, you're a great football team. And
yeah, nowhere in college football has it ever been done before.
Ever been done.
At any level. Yeah.
Any level. So we're very, we should be very proud of that. You'll probably go away from this game thinking right now is probably, I'll guess, 20 plays. If we make one of them, we win the national title. And after I just watched the game about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
First time?
Yeah. I watched it live, obviously, but I didn't watch it on tape.
Sure.
So I watched everything. It was at least 20, and I counted probably 30 plays. One of 30 plays we make, we could have won the game on just one play. Just make one of those plays. But that's just how those games go. And I talk about our split seconds and our inches. That's what we're trying to gain in the off season. Whether it's we're talking about the 4 quarters of the off season, which is first is winter conditioning, and then spring football. Then now we just finished summer conditioning. Now we start the 4th phase, or the 4th quarter, which is training camp. And this is where you get your split seconds and inches to win big games or championship games. And that's where you gotta keep digging to find that little bit extra that it takes to win. And you just make one of those plays, we were national champs. So it is what it is.
There was speculation after last season or going into the championship game that if the Birds had won the title, you would ride off into the sunset. Did you ever think about that?
No, I didn't really think about it, and no, I probably wouldn't have. I still think there's a lot of things we can get done here. I think I need to be around to help, facilitate. I don't think there's any secret that we're trying to build an end zone facility here, and that has to get done. Not just for me, but for the coach that follows me and the coaches that follow me later. We need a new facility. We've outgrown our facility, and we're falling behind. We need it just for other sports as well. The weight room. That's why when you're in a big time football program, you got to have a separate weight room, because everybody else needs that other weight room to work out in, Olympic sports. And we take up you're talking about 105 players now to going in there. And it might be 30, 40 guys at a time, but they're big. Our guys are big as steers. They take up a whole building on their own. And it's amazing, there's no one else can work out in this, So we've really outgrown the Kaufman building.
Sure.
We don't have any place we need a new locker room. We need, a training room needs to be updated, needs to be bigger. I don't know what the plan is for Kaufman. I know there's been some things kicked around, whether that be an academic center or a medical center for all our athletes. or maybe the top is one and the bottom's the other. Maybe you could do something like that there, and then us move down to the other facility, and so that helps your facilities overall. And other sports can come in. Okay, here's our new academic center. Here's our new sports medicine facility, whatever you want to call it. It'll make that part of all of our sports affected by that.
You see that as part of your legacy going forward?
I would hope so, but I really don't care about. It'd be great.
But you want to be a part of that and see that off.
Well, I just
you
want to make sure it's done right. And I come from a place that really every time they built a building, they had a basement or they had an upper floor that was empty. So they're always built for expansion, and that's kind of hard to do now in today's days. But it's going to happen, but you want to you surely don't want to be short. Sure. At least you want to have enough space where you're a lot better than you were. We think we're going to be a much better facility with this facility. You need to try to build it if you can, and I think this will be a game changer for us.
As we continue with Brock Spack, head coach of Illinois State football, going back to the game. So you beat North Dakota State in the playoffs last year. They leave to go to FBS, reminded when Appalachian State did the same thing when you knocked them out of the playoffs.
I know,
about a decade ago.
Great to remember both. I said we've not done it once; we've done it twice.
And no one else has done that I'm aware of. So, what do you make of the Bison leaving? They were the powerhouses of FCS football for so long.
It's hard to say with their legacy in football has been long. Been a long tradition there. It goes way, way, way back when they Division II titles, and then they go to FCS, and this is a different move. I coached in the Mountain West. I don't think this is the same Mountain West that I was in. Maybe it was, in certain respects, and maybe it's not. They're like everybody, but that's just college football right now. Yeah. The Big Ten's not where it was. The Big 12 isn't where it was. The Pac-10 isn't even a thing right now. I don't think Pac-12. I guess it is. I guess it is, but it's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
ACC is different. The MAC is different. And it used to be that group of six is kind of went flip-flopped. The Sun Belt has become one of the premier, along with America, one of the premier group of six leagues, I would say. And the Sun Belt, I thought, was last for a while there. Now they've been this because of facilities. Everybody's invested in football down there.
Sure.
And that league's become pretty good.
Does that mean there's an opening for the top spot in the Missouri Valley going forward?
I would think there is, and obviously does. But we won the last game, so
yep.
I guess we'll take the top spot for a while.
You won't be the underdog next year, though.
And probably not. And but I think we will in the South Dakota State game because I think they're picked to win our league.
And they're coming here October 3rd.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if that game, if we're still all in the same scenarios or same situations, it might be a little different, but who knows?
What are the biggest questions you have about your own team coming into the season that you want answered?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of it's all personnel driven. Most of it's personnel driven.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some things we really liked what we did in the spring. Some of the tweaks we didn't have a lot of them, but we're pretty simple on both sides of football. We not simple, but we're pretty in tune to what we like to do from a structure standpoint. There's some things we're going to add on both sides of the ball that's going to help us, I think, from a schematic standpoint. I'd like to see all that in play, but more importantly, more about personnel. Just obviously we'll start with a quarterback. I'm not naive to think. Even though I was a linebacker, all my time has been on defense. I was at a place that had some pretty good quarterbacks. 4 Heisman finalists, and I can tell you it's a big deal when you got a quarterback that can play.
And you just lost one who was great for several years in Tommy Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
So you've got 5 of them now. How do you handicap that?
I think they're all very good prospects. I think that room is one of the best rooms we've had here, in my opinion, in as a whole. Just from top 1 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some really good players. I would say 3 guys have a really good after spring football, and I thought Komet did a good job as well. He's a very good athlete, and he he's starting to become a better thrower like him. The young freshman, we haven't seen him much, but he's a pretty good athlete. He can really wing it. He'll be a good player. But I think the three guy in the spring, I thought, Beckham Pellant is probably the most gifted arm in the room. His arm talent is very, very good. He's got a very quick release. He has a very strong arm. He can make all the throws. And one of the bigger arms we've had here, but can he do everything else? Can he run an offense? He hasn't really done it for, he's played in games. We've seen we've seen a little bit of a preview, but we need to see more, and we'll see if he can handling a team. And then Gage Roy, our transfer from USC, is probably a pretty, I would say he's a very solid athlete, a good athlete, bigger guy, a little bit bigger guy than Beckham, can make all the throws, smooth delivery guy, really smooth, those nice catchable ball, can really accurate deep ball thrower, has and can run the offense. Luke Heward was his coach at USC, and Luke was here for a long time. He loves him from a team standpoint, from weight room, all that stuff. He trains well, trains hard, and is a good kid. So like him a lot. I think he's improving drastically since the spring. So that's good. And then the guy that's kind of a wild card is Chase Kukowski. Chase is a really good athlete, and he's a big kid. He's a linebacker-ish looking guy, 220 pounds, can run, he's got a pretty quick release. His arm talent is improving. He ran a lot in high school, but he's starting to throw the ball better, particularly in the RPO game. He's on time and on target, and he's really good with the ball in his hands. So he'll have a chance, and you'll see him in certain situations in the game. We got him playing on special teams too, because we can't take a third quarterback and him not being able. It's nice
Sure.
having him be able to play, and he can play in all our special teams and do all those things. So he's going to play football for us, even if it's not a quarterback. So.
And I can't help but wonder, going back to last season and making the long run to January, it really shortens your off season, right, to prepare for the next year. That's almost 8 weeks. Not that you would trade it, but do you have to make up for that time to get ready for the upcoming season?
Yes and no. I like the winter conditioning part of things. That gets cut short,
Yep.
and it sets the base for the rest of the year. But we've done this before. You talked about this isn't our first time doing it, so
Right.
we've learned some things along the way. What I did, I think there are some things I like. I like some of the decisions that we made in that. We were going to, I saw the big eyes in the freshmen in January. You can see, man, it's a long season, and they want to do this their whole life until they have to do it. Then he goes, this is not easy, And we gave them some time off for Christmas, and they came back and all that stuff. But it's still a long, long season. And then we have to give them some student-athlete discretionary time. So we give them some time off. We took about a month off. We didn't get back in the weight room till either probably early February, late January maybe. We took a couple weeks off, and when we came back, just to get them back in school and get back, get rest up a little bit. And we did some things different in the summer, especially when it comes to academics. Most of our guys are so far ahead academically, and they are doing really well. We set another record this past spring. That I said, fellas, I don't know why you'd want to take a summer class, because we're allowed, for a kid on scholarship now, you're allowed to pay for his room and board in the summer, and he doesn't have to take classes anymore. He doesn't have to do that. Okay, so that's not a rule. It used to be a rule. If you were here summer and we're paying for your room, board, tuition, fees, you had to take a 3-hour class at least. Most of them took 6 hours. So I told them 3 is a minimum, or the maximum. I don't want to see any more, and I'd rather you not. Because a lot of you guys are ahead, and let's take a deep breath. Let's catch our breath a little bit here in the summer. Let's focus just on football. But if you need a class for sequencing in your degree, or you got to have it because you have to get a certain grade and you didn't get it in another class, so you had to get it a grade to keep going in your major, whatever that is. We can go to 6 hours, but I'd rather see you not take classes. And most guys didn't. They, which is very unusual here. We didn't take about, I wouldn't say half. I don't know what the percentage would be, but a lot of our guys didn't take summer school classes because we don't, because we're so far ahead. And then our freshmen, we told every guy it's maximum one class. Now, if you need again a second class for sequencing, I get it. Or guys who had to have it. Freshmen, one class, and the freshmen took one class. They were only here 4 weeks and they went home. So they've been home the last 3-4 weeks. And so we usually keep them here for 8. We send them home we only kept them here 4 weeks. So I always think, I don't know how much fun that is. You just graduate from high school and you got to go back to college. You got to go back to school, and you're back in school in the summer in June. And there's nobody here, but I understand the importance of that. So let's just kind of cut it in half and say we're going to use that 4 weeks of it, get a taste of school, get a taste of training, get a taste of the offense, defense during OTAs, and then go home for 4 weeks. And that's what they did. We sent them home because I don't want this freshman class to look like the class did last year. So that's what we did. So that's how we kind of got them ready, but we think they'll be fresh and ready to go come Thursday morning. We'll see what happens, going forward.
Anything else that you want Redbird fans to know ahead of the upcoming season?
I think it's going to be a fun team to watch them. We're going to be a team that's going to continue to improve, particularly because of our, the quarterback situation. But we got some really good young receivers, one of the best receiver rooms as a depth. We're a team with better depth than we had last year, and I think there'll be position battles everywhere on the field, not just on offense, but on defense too, and in special teams. We're going to have a lot of good special teams players you can chase because we have some good athletes there that they shouldn't be standing on the sidelines, should play. And so I think if I'm a Redbird fan, I'm excited about watching this team get better and grow as the season goes on, because I think they're going to be a team that really makes big improvement throughout the year. So,
all right, we appreciate the time. That's all I have.
Great. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, our pleasure.